Hi, my name is Matt, and this is my 231J transfer case out of my 01 XJ. I had a problem, had a noise, had acceleration from a stop. Turns out that the snap ring on the non-slip yoke eliminator style broke, causing my shaft to drop down further than it was supposed to, causing my chain or my gear to rub on my synchro. Chewed it up a little bit, but not too bad. I didn't really beat the crap out of it too much when it was doing that. So I'm going to leave that in there. Should be fine. Chain wasn't chewed up too bad. But I decided when I rebuilt this to go with the slip yoke eliminator and to get a new bearing kit. So I've replaced all of the bearings inside of this. There's good videos. Bullshit Corner, he's got a good video on this, but there's one important thing that was left out and I haven't seen any videos on, and that is where that pilot bearing down inside of there for your shaft is supposed to be set at. So in this video I'm going to show you how to make sure that that pilot bearing is set properly for this, because you can pound that bearing all the way down in there and you're barely even making contact on that shaft. That would not be good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some grease, I'm going to put it on the end of this shaft, rub it on there, and you have to have this shaft bolted into this housing with your yoke on it. The nut's in there, this is bolted down to this housing. It has to be bolted into this housing. If it is not, the shaft will drop down too far, as if that ring were broken. There's not one in this housing, but in the old housing there is a ring in there that holds this housing and this shaft in the proper alignment to your chain and your synchros. This uses the bolt of the yoke to hold it into that bearing. So we're going to take this assembly and we're going to drop it down in here and we're going to spin it, and that is going to put a mark on the shaft with the grease and show us where that bearing is contacting with this shaft. I already have mine set. It's easy to do. Put this bearing in with the socket or a press, punch, whatever. Set it down where you think it's supposed to be. It's very easy to pound it back through if you pound it down too far, or pound it down further if it's not down far enough. So you're going to have your case dry fit on here. This is not bolted on there. Just make sure that it's down all the way, and your alignment pins, that one just popped out, make sure those are lined up properly, and this case is in the position that it's supposed to be, and flush flat down in there. I do not have the spring underneath here. That would make this a little more difficult. So take that out off of your shift shaft here. So I'm going to grab this, I'm going to drop it in here, and I'm going to give it a spin, and we're going to see where that bearing is resting. And my synchro is not lined up right, so this is going to be hard. Get it out of there. Sorry about the camera. Alright, so now we got that drop down in there. I'm going to give this a spin. Spin it forward, backwards, whichever way. If you notice that my chain was not in here, neither is the gear over here. You don't need that in here to do this. If you had it in there, you wouldn't be able to do this. Spin it around a couple times. That should be good. Pull it out. Set it down. Take a look at the grease marks on the shaft and where that bearing is resting. Try to get a good angle here. The light in the shop allows me to, so you can see where that bearing is hitting. You can see that it's probably about 1/8 of an inch away from this top edge there. I'm going to leave it there because the bearing inside of here is flush with the top of where you pound it in here. I don't want to pound it up any higher than that. If I wanted to, I could to get more contact on here, but it would be sticking out of the housing that it goes into in there, and there'd be less contact holding that bearing in there. So I'm going to leave it right about there. It should be good. Almost full contact on there. But you got to make sure you do this, because if you pound that bearing too far down in there, and that bearing's only halfway riding on this surface here, you're going to have some problems. So hopefully this video is helpful on that aspect of rebuilding, putting new bearings in the 231J transfer case. Have a good one, guys.